Have you ever felt like life is moving too fast? Like there's too much noise, too many messages, and not enough time to just be? What if I told you there's a simple secret that can help you find calm, focus, and happiness, even in our busy world? Stay with me, and you'll discover this powerful secret. Hello, English learners. Welcome to English Journey, the place where we help you grow personally while mastering English. I'm Celine, your host, and I'm so excited to share another valuable lesson with you today. We release new videos every day to help you improve your English skills, understand important life lessons, and build a better future for yourself. Before we dive into today's amazing book summary, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. It helps us reach more learners like you. And make sure to watch until the end, because we'll have key takeaways and a short quiz to test your understanding. Stillness is the Key. Today, we're talking about a very important book called Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. This book teaches us about a deep and powerful idea: stillness. Stillness is not just about stopping or doing nothing. It's about finding inner peace, being calm in your mind, body, and soul, even when the world around you is busy and noisy. It is a quiet strength that helps you think clearly, make better choices, and live a more meaningful life. This idea has been important for thousands of years. Different cultures and philosophies have talked about it, using different names. For example, Buddhists call it upekkha, Muslims call it aslama, and Stoics call it apatheia, which means being calm and undisturbed by strong emotions. They all talk about the same thing: a deep inner peace, a calm center inside you, no matter what happens outside. This stillness is not apathy or not caring. It is a powerful state of balance and clarity. Let's explore how you can find and use stillness in your life to improve your English journey and your overall well-being. 1. Finding stillness in a noisy world. Imagine a time long ago in Rome. A wise man named Seneca was trying to work, but it was very noisy. There were loud athletes grunting and weights clanking in a gym below his room. Outside, dogs barked loudly, and sellers shouted about their goods in the street. On top of that, Seneca had many worries in his mind: money problems, political troubles, and losing favor with the emperor. His inner world was as chaotic as the world around him. It was incredibly hard for him to think clearly or feel peaceful enough to do important intellectual work. Does this sound like your life today? Our modern world is even noisier. To the sounds Seneca experienced, we add constant phone conversations, roaring cars, planes flying overhead, and a never-ending stream of digital noise. We have overflowing email inboxes and constant social media notifications, a never-ending chorus of pings, dings, and rings. This makes it incredibly challenging to find a quiet moment for ourselves. But Seneca, despite all this, found peace by embracing stillness. He learned to mute both his outer and inner environments. What is stillness? It's like when you focus so deeply on a problem that, from nowhere, a burst of insight suddenly comes to you. That's stillness. Your mind becomes clear, and the answer appears. It's like when you perform perfectly after months of practice, like playing a musical instrument or giving a speech, and then you step in front of an audience and perform perfectly, completely absorbed in the moment. That's stillness. It's like when you watch the slow rise of the morning sun and feel a deep sense of warmth and happiness, simply because you are alive and present in that moment. That's stillness. Stillness means being full and complete inside yourself. When you find stillness, the small, unimportant things around you become quiet, and you can hear your own thoughts clearly. Seneca, even with many problems and distractions, found this deep peace. He wrote powerful philosophical essays that have influenced millions of people throughout history. He believed that if you find peace inside yourself, all things become possible: clear thought, effective work, and a good life, even if the world around you is in conflict. the power of stillness is timeless and universal. So, how can you find this powerful stillness in your daily life? Let's explore some key ideas and practical ways to achieve it. 2. Stillness in times of crisis. In October 1962, something very scary happened. American spy planes discovered that the Soviet Union was building nuclear missile sites in Cuba, very close to the United States. John F. Kennedy, the U.S. president, woke up to a dramatically changed world. The possibility of a nuclear attack on the United States was suddenly very real. He faced huge pressure. His military advisors, reacting from instinct, wanted him to order an immediate attack on the missile sites. They believed aggression must be met with greater aggression. But Kennedy was calm. He knew that an immediate, uncontrolled reaction could trigger a catastrophic nuclear war, leading to the death of millions. Instead of reacting quickly and emotionally, Kennedy chose stillness. He resisted his first, natural urge to strike. He slowed down the decision-making process. He did not order an attack. To give himself space to think, he went swimming in the White House pool, which was his way of meditating. He also found peace and quiet in the beautiful White House rose garden. Later, he even thanked the gardener for her part in helping to solve the crisis, because the peaceful environment helped him think clearly. Kennedy understood that a quick outcome was less important than making sure both sides had time to think. He announced a blockade of Cuba instead of a direct attack. This gave the Soviet leader, Nikita Khrushchev, time and space to consider his options carefully. This proved to be a very wise move. The crisis ended peacefully through negotiations, not war. Because of Kennedy's ability to maintain his calm and find stillness under extreme pressure, he helped pull the world back from the edge of a global disaster. He achieved this not by using military force immediately, but by finding the time and mental space, the stillness, to think his options through and choose the wisest path. Lesson: when you find yourself in a difficult or high-pressure situation, whether it's a challenging exam, a big presentation, or a personal problem, try to do what Kennedy did. Resist your immediate emotional reactions or gut feelings. Slow things down. Give yourself physical and mental space to think. This stillness will help you clear your mind, see all your options, and make the best, most thoughtful decisions rather than reacting out of stress or fear. 3. The power of being present. In 2010, a performance artist named Marina Abramović did something amazing in New York's Museum of Modern Art. For 79 days, she sat still and silent for a total of 750 hours. Across from her chair was another empty chair, where museum visitors could come and sit. Each time a new person sat down, Marina would take a moment to look down and collect herself. Then she would look up and meet the eyes of her new visitor. When she did, she was truly there, completely with them, fully present. Her show was powerfully titled, "The Artist is Present." People who sat across from Marina found the experience deeply moving. Some were so affected by her complete presence, her total focus on them in that moment, that they began to cry openly. Why? Because most people, most of the time, are not truly present. We are often trying to escape the current moment. Instead of simply enjoying a beautiful sunset, we take a photo of it, sometimes missing the actual experience. Or, if we finally have a quiet evening at home, our minds race through long lists of things we still need to do. Even when waiting in line, we often check our phones, distracting ourselves from being here, now. But not being present comes at a cost. It might sound obvious, and you've probably heard it before, but it is deeply true. The present moment is truly all you have. If your mind is not here, now, if you are constantly dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, then you are letting your life slip past you, unnoticed and unappreciated. Artists like Marina Abramović, and indeed anyone who excels, remain awake to the present. They are present in everything they do. While we go through our lives distracting ourselves with hopes, fears, and fantasies, truly present people truly see, truly hear, and truly experience. And it is this stillness, this complete focus on the current moment, that helps create brilliance, deep understanding, and profound connection. Athletes, for example, are coached to be absolutely present, not just because it is a nice feeling, but because any distraction leads to poor performance. To be at the top of your game, whether in sports, learning English, or performing any task, you have to be completely there. Lesson: the same truth applies to life in general. Be here. Whatever you are doing, focus on it completely. Don't worry about what other people might say about your efforts. Don't let your mind become overwhelmed with worries or overthinking. Learn to still your mind and be fully present. This simple act can transform your daily experiences, making you more effective and more fulfilled. 4. Reflect deeply through journaling. On June 12, 1942, a young Jewish girl named Anne Frank wrote in her diary for the very first time. She hoped that she would be able to confide everything to the diary, and that it would become a source of comfort to her. Just 24 hours later, Anne's family was forced into hiding from the Nazis, and her diary became her most trusted friend during a terrifying time. Even in these extremely difficult circumstances, Anne continued to journal. This habit rewarded her with valuable insights. She discovered that writing can be a way to watch yourself as if you are a stranger, which gives you a fresh and objective perspective on your actions and feelings. She once wrote that everyone would be more noble if, at the end of each day, they reviewed their own behavior. She believed we would all surely try to do better the following day. Anne Frank was not the first to discover this powerful benefit of journaling. Our ancient Stoic philosopher friend, Seneca, for example, wrote in his journal every night. He wrote every detail and did not hide from any difficult truths about himself or his day. After doing this, he said, he slept soundly, with a clear conscience. History is full of other famous people who kept journals, including Oscar Wilde, Queen Victoria, and many successful athletes and leaders. And it's no wonder. There is clear evidence that journaling significantly improves our well-being and mental health. Studies have shown that keeping a journal helps people feel better and recover more quickly after traumatic events. For instance, a university study found that people going through a divorce found it easier to move on if they regularly recorded their experiences and feelings in a journal. Lesson: to cut through the noise and distractions of daily life and focus on the most important thoughts and reflections of your day, try picking up a pen and paper. And when you do, follow Seneca's example. Be sure to face any tough questions that come up honestly. Ask yourself, why did I get so worried about this today? Why do I care so much about impressing my coworkers? How did today's challenges reveal my true character? Honestly and thoughtfully facing these questions is the best way, truly the only way, to get the most out of journaling and find true self-understanding. But how do you start? The truth is, how, when, or where you journal does not matter so much. What is really important is simply creating a quiet moment to get things off your chest, to empty your mind onto the page. You can journal in the evening, the morning, or for 5 minutes while sitting on the train, whenever you can find a quiet moment, really. This short time of writing and reflection might become the most important time in your whole day for finding stillness. 5. Cultivate silence. Our lives are very noisy with phones, notifications, and constant sounds. We often use noise to avoid true silence. If you sit on an airplane with nothing to do, you can clearly see how much we rely on noise to avoid true silence. We watch movies we don't really care about or listen to podcasts instead of simply sitting in silence and exploring the thoughts and feelings within our own minds. But why give our minds over to distracting noise when we could instead take advantage of the great riches that silence offers us? These riches of silence are something that the experimental music composer John Cage understood very deeply. Cage had always been fascinated by silence. In 1928, during a high school speaking competition, he even argued that the United States should establish a national day of quiet. This was the beginning of a life spent exploring what silence truly means and how it impacts us. Cage's most famous creation, titled 433, is a musical composition with a special twist. It is a 4-minute, 33-second-long stretch of uninterrupted silence. During the first public performance of the piece, the audience sat listening to the silence. During the first part of the piece, they could hear the wind blowing outside the concert hall. During the second part, raindrops gently pattered on the roof. After the performance, Cage pointed out something very important. He said that true silence doesn't really exist. What we think of as silence is not actually silent, because it is full of accidental sounds and the sounds of our own bodies. By giving people silence, Cage was actually helping them to start truly hearing the subtle sounds of the world and their own inner world. There's a powerful lesson there for all of us whose lives are too noisy. Silence, or a conscious absence of external noise, can help us to refocus our minds and find clarity. It helps us find stillness. Leadership expert Randall Stutman, who works with very successful CEOs and Wall Street leaders, once studied how these top business people truly recharge during their time off. The key, he discovered, was spending time in environments with minimal noise. They enjoyed activities like long-distance cycling, swimming, or scuba diving. In these quiet moments, these leaders truly recharged by escaping from the constant voices, demands, and thoughts that filled their working lives. Lesson: consciously dialing down the noise in your life, even for short periods, helps you discover a deeper awareness of what is truly around you and inside you. That could mean simply noticing the gentle sound of rain on the roof, like the audience at Cage's performance. Or it could mean that the answers to your most challenging problems suddenly appear in your head during your quiet activity. Embrace moments of silence to find your own clarity and stillness. 6. Stillness of the soul, knowing yourself. In June 2008, Tiger Woods, the famous golfer, won a major golf championship, the U.S. Open, for the third time. It was an incredible victory, especially because he played the entire tournament with a leg that was broken in 2 places. He was famous for his ability to find stillness and focus in moments of extreme pressure. It seemed like the high point of Woods' career. But not long afterward, the golfer's world collapsed. For many days, newspapers detailed his secret life and many personal betrayals. His secret life was exposed, and Woods did not win another major championship for over 10 years. As the Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh has wisely said, while the surface of the ocean may seem still, underneath there are powerful currents. That was certainly the case for Tiger Woods, a man who appeared calm under pressure, but was, in fact, controlled by strong inner troubles lurking below the surface. This is not surprising when you understand how Tiger Woods was raised to be a champion. His father, knowing that golf requires a clear mind, would sometimes shout insults and negative words at Woods while he was trying to play, especially during important moments. His mother even threatened him if he damaged their family's reputation. In Woods' own words, he was trained to be a cold-blooded killer on the golf course. And it worked. His childhood training made him a great champion. But it also left him with a deeply troubled soul, which later led him to neglect and betray his family in pursuit of dishonest and ultimately unsatisfying desires. Later, Woods reflected on this difficult time in his life and realized that if you are always living a lie, life is truly no fun. Woods' story shows us that the endless pursuit of any external goal, like winning championships or achieving fame, is not worth it if we damage our souls in the process. Lesson: as we have seen, stillness is very useful for becoming more effective in business or in sports. But what is the purpose of all that external success if, in our personal lives, we are like angry, uncontrolled people rather than the calm, serene individuals we aim to be? Our true happiness and lasting contentment in life come from achieving stillness of the soul. This means understanding your true self, your core values, and being honest with yourself and others. If you are always being dishonest or chasing things that don't truly matter to your inner peace, you will not find lasting happiness. True peace comes from living a good, honest life and caring for your deepest inner self. 7. Know when you have enough. Sometimes even the most powerful and successful people are controlled by their desires. Desires for more money, more possessions, more fame, or even bad actions. If we are overly driven by these desires, it becomes much harder to achieve true happiness and contentment. That's because superficial desires, unlike those that lead to more noble or meaningful pursuits, usually come at a significant cost. The Greek philosopher Epicurus had a very helpful test for telling the difference between good desires and potentially harmful ones. Anytime he felt himself being strongly pulled by a new desire, he asked himself, "How will I feel afterward if I actually get what I want?" This question helps you focus on the negative consequences or the hangover of achieving that desire, not just the temporary thrill or pleasure. It makes you think about the sense of guilt or regret that might follow, and not just the excitement of the moment. Once you have learned to examine and control your desires, it may become easier to take a very important step toward finding stillness, accepting that you have enough. There is a famous story about two writers, Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller, who once attended a party at the huge, expensive home of a billionaire. Vonnegut asked his friend Heller how it felt to know that their rich host had probably earned more money that very day than Heller's famous book, Catch-22, had earned in its entire history. Heller replied calmly that he had something the billionaire never would, the knowledge that he had enough. Lesson. Heller meant that he was deeply content and satisfied with what he had achieved and what he had in his life. This acceptance of enough can be a truly beautiful and liberating thing. It brings stillness in the form of release from endless wanting, from constant comparison to others, and from the pressure to always have more. So if you find yourself constantly wanting more, remind yourself of Joseph Heller's contented embrace of enough. And know that after he said those powerful words, Heller went on to write 6 more novels. But he wasn't doing it to prove anything to himself or to anyone else. When a reporter later said critically that Heller hadn't written anything as good as his first famous work, Heller was able to reply with perfect calmness and confidence, "Who has?" This shows the peace that comes from truly knowing you have enough. 8. Bask in the beauty around you. There's a powerful idea in Japan called Shinrin-yoku, which translates to forest bathing. It is a kind of therapy that uses spending time in nature to heal spiritual and mental worries. This is similar to how President Kennedy found stillness and clarity in the peaceful White House's Rose Garden during the tense Cuban Missile Crisis, using nature to calm his mind. Of course, it isn't always possible for us to take regular forest baths or retreat to deep wilderness. Perhaps you live in a busy city and cannot always escape to nature in search of obvious beauty. But the good news is that if we can train ourselves to notice less obvious forms of beauty, we begin to see it everywhere around us, in our daily lives. This was certainly the case for the Roman philosopher and emperor Marcus Aurelius. He is often seen as a serious and sometimes sad stoic, but Marcus Aurelius wrote beautifully about finding beauty in the ordinary things of life. He talked about how a simple loaf of bread splits naturally as it bakes, and how these cracks catch our eye and make us feel hungry. He saw beauty even in the simple, natural process of death. He wrote that we should come gracefully to our final resting place, falling like a ripened olive that has given its life and growth to the tree, now grateful and ready to fall. Lesson. So, no matter where you find yourself, whether in a quiet park or a busy street, take inspiration from Marcus Aurelius and John F. Kennedy. Simply take a moment to pause and notice the beauty around you. It can be in the patterns of light, the shapes of buildings, the colors of flowers, or even the small actions of people. The stillness that you find there, in appreciating the ordinary, may be a rarely appreciated gift in most of our busy lives. But there is an endless supply of beauty in the world, waiting to be seen. You just need to take a moment to look, to slow down, and to truly appreciate. 9. Finding stillness in activity. Winston Churchill, a truly remarkable leader, lived an incredibly productive life. By the age of 26, he was elected to the British Parliament, and he continued to serve in government for over 6.5 decades. As Britain's wartime prime minister, he played a crucial role in defeating Nazism during World War II. He also found time to write over 40 books and deliver more than 2,000 speeches throughout his long and busy life. Given his intense schedule and immense responsibilities, Churchill might seem like the last person from whom we would expect stillness, but in fact, he possessed it in abundance. His life was a clear example of one particular method for bringing peace and stillness to even the busiest life: taking care of yourself physically through active hobbies. Churchill's favorite physical activity was, unusually, bricklaying. He learned this skill from two of his employees at his country home, Chartwell, and soon fell deeply in love with the rhythmic, meditative process of mixing mortar, spreading it with a trowel, and carefully stacking up the bricks. He even built a cottage on his estate using bricks he laid himself. In a letter written in 1927 to the Prime Minister, Churchill happily reported that he had enjoyed a delightful month. Alongside his demanding duties as a government minister, he had managed to write 2,000 words a day for his books, and also laid 200 bricks. According to Churchill's daughter Mary, bricklaying and his other much-loved hobby, painting, were more than just simple pastimes. They were also his main ways to cope with the periods of sadness and depression to which he was prone. Both activities allowed him an intellectual escape, a break from his serious work, and, crucially, an opportunity to exercise his body. This physical activity helped clear his mind and restore his energy. Lesson: cultivating both your mind and your body through engaging activities can be a huge step toward becoming even a fraction as productive and effective as Churchill, and a hobby is an ideal way to do so. That's why so many great historical figures were also hobbyists on the side. A generation before Churchill, four-time Prime Minister of the United Kingdom William Gladstone took up the hobby of chopping down trees, finding physical and mental release in the effort. John Cage, the composer who loved silence, became a dedicated mushroom hunter. So, consider what physical activity or hobby might help release you from the pressures of your work or daily life. What activity allows your mind to rest while your body is engaged? Find the stillness that Gladstone found in the sound of his axe hitting the oak tree, or that Churchill found in the rhythmic slap of mortar on brick. Whatever you choose, it should be an activity you enjoy, one that helps you recharge. But remember, as we'll see in our final chapter, you shouldn't take things too far. Balance is always key. 10. Make room for rest. Stillness is also about rest. Winston Churchill, despite his incredible work ethic, made perhaps his most important discovery not in a strategy meeting, but during a trip to Cuba. It wasn't a military plan or a powerful speech technique. No, it was the incredible energy-giving power of the siesta, a short afternoon nap. It's true that taking care of ourselves physically means being active and finding ways to invigorate and enrich ourselves, but it's very easy to focus too much on activity, as many of us do at work. It's all too common in our society to trade our health and well-being for a few more hours in the office. People in demanding jobs often say, "I'll sleep when I'm dead," as they put in another long, tiring shift. But the truly great performers and leaders, the Winston Churchills of this world, know that no matter how active and productive we are, we should never neglect the simple, yet powerful benefit of sleep. Sleep is something to be protected and prioritized because it allows us to recover, refresh our minds, and perform at our absolute best. The psychologist Anders Ericsson, who studied top performers in many fields, found a clear pattern. When he studied master violinists, he discovered that, on average, they slept a full 8.5 hours each night, and most of them also took naps during the day. What's more, the very best violinists napped more than those who were less successful. This shows that rest is not a sign of weakness, but a key component of peak performance and sustained creativity. There's more to this than just the physical benefits of sleep. Accepting that you need to stop working and get some rest is fundamentally a question of knowing your limits. And this, the embracing of moderation and knowing when enough, is another great path to stillness. Too many of us today are simply trying to do too much. Prince Albert, the husband of Britain's Queen Victoria in the 19th century, is a sad example of this. Prince Albert didn't just take his role as prince consort seriously, he took it too seriously. He filled his life with an endless series of meetings, social obligations, and demanding projects. He threw himself completely into organizing the 1851 Great Exhibition, a massive 6-month-long celebration of the British Empire, and spent years of his life on this single project. By the time it opened, he told his family that he felt more dead than alive. The event was a huge public success, but Albert's health never recovered from this extreme overwork. When he died prematurely in 1861, his doctors strongly believed that his constant overwork had seriously damaged his health. He had literally worked himself to death. Lesson: stop. Be present. Know your limits. Embrace moderation in all things. Protect the precious gift that is your body and your mind. Give proper attention to your physical health, to your spirit, and to your mind, and you will find that you can truly cultivate stillness. You can feel its calming and powerful presence in your life. So, slow things down. Calm things down. Quiet things down. Embrace stillness today for a healthier, happier, and more productive life. Recap, takeaways. Here are the main lessons from Stillness is the Key. Be present. Live fully in the here and now. Reflect deeply. Write in a journal to understand yourself better. Cultivate silence. Find quiet moments to clear your mind and truly hear. Know your soul. Understand your true self, values, and deepest desires for inner peace. Have enough. Be content with what you possess and achieve, avoiding endless wanting. See beauty. Find and appreciate beauty in the ordinary things around you. Find stillness in activity. Engage in physical hobbies that help you relax and recharge. Make room for rest. Prioritize sleep and know your limits to protect your body and mind. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to English Journey for more valuable content. Your support helps us grow and continue creating videos for you. Quiz. Now it's quiz time. To check your understanding, please answer these questions in the comments section below. 1. Question 1. What did Seneca do to find peace in a noisy environment? 2. Question 2. How did President Kennedy show stillness during the Cuban Missile Crisis? 3. Question 3. What is one benefit of keeping a journal according to the book? 4. Question 4. Why did Tiger Woods' life become troubled even though he was a great golfer? 5. Question 5. What is one physical activity or hobby that helped Winston Churchill find stillness? Remember to answer in the comments. Conclusion. Thank you for joining me on this English journey today. I'm Celine, and I hope this summary of Stillness is the Key has given you some great ideas for your personal growth and your English learning. Books are truly powerful tools. They don't just help you learn new words and phrases, they open your mind to new ways of thinking and help you build a better life. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy learning!